can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. This is a preview for the big fight taking place on the massive card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, November 22nd. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, one of the biggest names in boxing right now, unified world champion at super flyweight, takes on world champion Fernando Martinez, the undefeated Fernando Martinez. Ra, thank you for joining me as always. Appreciate your time. Big night of boxing app taking place on the 22nd of November. Um, Give us your thoughts on this fight. Rodriguez, he's maybe in danger of not kind of really not being tested too much in his last couple of fights. He's kind of marching his way to undisputed status fairly easily. Martinez, undefeated, 18 and 0, 34 years old, so he's been around. He's been around a little while. Had those wins against Ioka in Japan. Can this is this guy could this guy be Rodriguez's biggest challenge? Do you think?
Uh, yes, I think so. He was a top level amateur and Olympian, although what's like 10 years ago now, it was 2016 he was at the Olympics. Um, I don't think we should underestimate how hard it is to go over to Japan and
Mm,
win. So he's done that a couple of times now. All his championship level fights have effectively been on the road, haven't they? So he is a top level operator, but I think Bam Rodriguez, he's just such a level above everyone else in the division that even someone as good as Martinez, I mean, they're going to be very hard pushed to even make it competitive. In that sense, maybe Bam's somewhat like Inoue's been just running through entire divisions without being severely tested. I mean, to be fair, I mean, Bam, the fight against Estrada got put down.
mm.
And it's worth remembering some of the guys he's fought so far have been greats. I mean, he's fought three of the four greats, albeit quite faded past it. Um, so yeah, I mean, certainly in terms of his skill set and boxing now, so he's been tested in that sense. But
Yeah.
you combine that with his tremendous physical attributes. Yeah, it's going to take some doing. But as you said, Martinez, he's experienced, still relatively fresh. I think he'll make it somewhat competitive, but the biggest test he's come across, can't see him doing much better than Estrada did.
No, no, we'll see. Where's your head at with Rodriguez being kind of a potential pound for pound star, Rob? Because he's arguably in the top 10 now. Obviously, if you look at the top three, Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, in no particular order, those fighters could all be retired in the next 18 months to 2 years. Um, and Rodriguez is possibly seen as that next guy, that next face star of boxing. Canelo Alvarez, another name as well, who's in the grand stage of his career. Do you think he can do that despite kind of, I don't want to say just, do you think he can do that despite not having those major fights, if you know what I mean? Because as you mentioned, he's beaten big names, but he's beaten big names who are kind of at the end of their careers. He's not kind of had that, arguably not had that career-defining fight yet. Yeah, he's just picking up world titles for fun. Do you think he's a future pound for pound star? And do you think we're going to see him in any kind of major fights where where the world is watching in the next couple of years?
I think he will become one of the top pound for pound fighters. As I said, I think he will fill that top three gap when a couple of these Asian guys go. Whether he becomes like this big star, in America, they don't give much love to those lighter weight classes, do they? So I think that might be a hindrance. I think a big key for him might be how long he stays at super flyweight and then more importantly bantamweight, because I think maybe the key for him to becoming a real big star is if he can catch Inoue before he's moved up, which is unlikely to happen. But if he could catch Inoue or maybe Junto Nakatani, but I mean a lot will depend on how that all Japanese duel plays out next year. But other than that, I mean, as you said, I mean, who are the names? that will catapult him, the dance partners. I don't think there are any, and without them, do Americans are they going to ever sort of embrace him, wholeheartedly that way? So that might be his biggest problem. But amongst us sort of hardcore fans, I've got no doubt within the next 2 or 3 years he'll be in the conversation for the top three.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Inoue and Nakatani possibly going to be fighting in April, May time. That would be for the undisputed super bantamweight titles. Um, and I think possibly by the time that fight happens, Rodriguez could be fighting at bantamweight, which would mean there's only one weight division between them. So the optimist in me says, why can't Rodriguez fight the winner of that fight when if there's only one weight division between them? I've got a big part of me that doesn't, for one reason or another, doesn't think it'll happen, but that's the fight for Rodriguez, surely, to put him into the stratosphere of kind of generational wealth and being kind of a global sports star. That's the fight that needs to happen for him. Final question from me, Ra. Would you prefer Rodriguez? Because I feel like you've got Inoue who started his career at light flyweight and could move up to featherweight in arguably a division he doesn't belong in. He could fight the likes of Nick Ball, other kind of just other kind of other real top fighters in that division. I think Espinoza, who's obviously freakishly tall for the weight as well, could be another fight that could happen. Some would say that Inoue is just kind of moving up in weights because he's cleared everyone out of certain weight divisions, and he's ends up in weight divisions he doesn't belong in potentially. Would you like to see Rodriguez just kind of keep moving up in search of those big fights, but possibly be in a weight division he doesn't belong in? Or would you prefer him to say, no, I'm a super flyweight, I'm a bantamweight, I'm going to stay in these divisions. I'm not going to keep moving up just for the sake of it. Can I just get your opinion on that before we call it a day, please?
I would say he should keep moving up. So I expect him to beat Martinez. Um, I would like a quick turnaround for him to get that final belt, as a tick box exercise to say he's been undisputed at one of the better lighter weight divisions. Then at bantamweight, I don't think he should hang around long. I think he should maybe just target the Mexican puncher Jimenez. That might be an exciting fight, and it will maybe get a bit of attention sort of in North America. Win that, and then as you said, maybe by then uh, that super fight with the whoever comes out of uh, on top between Inoue and Nakatani. I think he should target that next. And I don't think he necessarily needs to hang around there too long now. In terms of the size factor, he is huge at the weight. We know over there in North America and Asia, they do employ much more extreme weight cutting measures. So in actual size terms, I would say he's probably bigger than someone like Inoue, I would guess, because he's 5'7", and probably employs extreme weight cutting. So I think he could easily fight at featherweight and not be hugely outsized by some of the competitors. Not all of them. Like you said, people like was it Vargas and is it Espinoza who were like close to 6 foot. But then you got really short, stocky guys like Ball. So I would say get one undisputed division under his belt. And then if there's no big fights really at bantamweight or super bantamweight, there's no need to hang around trying to collect all the belts. It'd be better if he just goes for, those really big challenges, and the bigger money that will come with it.
Yeah,
That's how I would guide him if it was up to me. But I'm not a manager. I'm just a fan.
yeah. No, well, you're more than the fan, right? You're an established reporter. That's why we keep having you back on the channel. We'll end things there. But yeah, big night of boxing on the 22nd of November in Riyadh. Rob, been great to preview this fight with you, and I'll speak to you again soon.